Tommy Reese said the Cincinnati game, the running game failed to take advantage of some opportunities that were there. He didn't say whether it was offensive line or running back, but what is your take on the running game against Cincinnati?
Yeah, I would like to, see us play a few more games before I make a stark judgment. I thought there was a few times where we just had unblocked guys. We just didn't get hats on hats, and it's hard when there's an NFL linebacker making a tackle or unblocking the hole at 2 yards. For anybody to be successful. So I think we didn't take advantage of the opportunities. They ran a little bit different defense than we thought. They might run, but it wasn't something we hadn't planned for. We'd seen it. And I think we just need to make sure we have a hat on a hat, and then kind of go from there.
Do you think those corrections are
What did you
easy?
see of Bitonio during minicamp, and how much are you looking forward to having him back on the field with you guys, potentially even Sunday against the Ravens?
Yeah, when I was here in the spring, OTAs, minicamp, he looked explosive. He looked good. He looked like a good running back. Obviously it changes. We didn't have pads on or anything like that, but from what I saw, it was pretty good stuff. So we're excited to have him back and see him practice out there. And it's hard to, no matter how much you've been training and stuff, hard to come in and expect to play too crazy amount. But we're excited to have him back in the locker room and see what he does.
Do you think those corrections are easy to make, Joel, that you were talking about?
Yes, I do. I think we can, just make sure we're all on the same page, make sure we're getting our points and going to the guys off those points. So I think it's a correctable thing. Hopefully make a huge improvement from week 1 to week 2 on that front.
Joel, what about this idea of the Ravens celebrating the 30th anniversary of getting a team while you guys are coming to town?
Yeah, I think Coach Stefanski's, since I've been here, since he's been here, has done a great job of telling the Cleveland Browns, history and what it's been. And, and obviously that has parts to do with the Ravens' history as well. They made a choice, and it's part of the NFL, and it's part of the rivalry, it's part of the division. And so we got to come and give them a good fight.
Do you think it was intentional that they scheduled it for you guys coming into town?
I mean, it's a home opener. Who knows? I don't make those decisions. I just know we're on the schedule and we're gonna go play.
Joel, you've been here obviously for a long time and talked to a bunch of fans and people around town. Have you gotten a sense of what it was like when that happened, when the team moved from here and then was gone for 3 years?
Yeah. I mean, you hear a lot of stories from a lot of fans, but that's obviously, part of the worst part of the history. And you hear everybody say that they were watching the team in '64 and they won a championship, before they move on, and things like that. So the fans know it, and the fans have always supported us. So we know it's part of the history of the team, and fans were obviously devastated when that happened.
You said that Kevin's done a good job of teaching the history of the team. So I take it was brought up this week.
He hasn't said anything in the meetings, but we've had plenty of times talking about the great players that have played here and what's happened. It usually happens in the spring or in training camp, but nothing's had to be said this week.
Bella said that if he were a player again, something like this would give him a little bit more juice in the game. Does it do that for you?
I think it's just an AFC North game. As a lineman, we don't get too high, don't get too low. I got to bring the same juice every week, So for me, it is what it is, and I know we're going to go out there and compete and play against these guys.
Joel, just watching the film back and everything, and obviously playing next to Dewan, how do you think he came out of week 1, and especially all the responsibility he had to trade?
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for anybody. I think he went out and competed, and he played hard, which was part of it. We want to fine-tune the details, the fundamentals, and he's still making that transition from the right to the left side. But there's for sure some positive out there that we can keep building on.
So when you look at the Ravens pass rush and their rush coverage, what stands out about them for you guys this week?
Yeah, I mean, they have good players, which is makes it tough for us. But also just they're very versatile, in the blitz packages they run. 3 or 4 different fronts they can run on third down. They can drop D linemen and bring safeties and corners. So to be guess right every time is a little bit tough. You try and get your assignments and your rules, and hopefully if they do bring something that we're blocking the other way for, we can throw our hots and be ready on that front.
How about with Joe Flacco. Obviously, this game is going to mean so much to him his first time back there in Baltimore. How much does that, I mean, what kind of a factor is that in this game for you guys to want to go out there and help win it for him?
Yeah, we do. I mean, Joe is just Joe Cool. Like, even in the game last week, we're on a 20-play drive, and it's just like, he's just Joe Cool. Like, we're going out there and playing. So I don't think he'll make it in big. I'm sure he'll think about it. That's a long time of his career. Super Bowl champ, MVP, career there. So I'm sure he'll have emotions going into it. But for us, we want to protect him and hopefully let him have a good performance.
When you talk about you just talked about the Ravens pass rush. You can't guess right all the time. You've got to know your hots. So does this type of defensive team put a greater emphasis on the quarterback beating the rush?
They do in some instances. Like some instances, you can throw it. I mean, sometimes they'll rush 4 and run games, and you have to try and block those guys and drop into coverage. That's what makes them unique. But there is a lot of times where you can have the perfect call, and you still might have one free the way they play things, unless you get to a 0 check. And so, the quarterback has to be on top of their game, winning the checks.
How big of a difference is Joe going from what Cincinnati does schematically to what Baltimore does? 'Cause it looks different. But
Yeah,
is it
in
definitely
the past, I thought they were very similar, like base structures, but both of them kind of have changed that up a little bit. So there's a difference for sure. They have different body types, different players. They're all different than our defense, so that's always new every week now. But no, it'll be a good change up. I mean, we didn't get very much blitz at all from Cincinnati last week, and so I think we'll expect a little bit more this week.
What is it about, you played the Ravens over the years, what is it about, I guess, their culture defensively? It doesn't seem to matter who the coordinator is, it doesn't seem to matter the personnel that they put on the field. They just always play that real super physical smash mouth type of defense.
Yeah, I think it starts with their organization. I'm sure top down they know the type of players they like to draft and acquire, and they, Coach Harbaugh's been there for a long time. So when you're there for that long, I think you can get your culture set up and get the players that fit your culture. And guys play there for a long time. There's examples of guys going away and then coming back and playing that system, or finding a guy like Kyle Van Noy towards the end of his career where he's kind of been around a little bit, but they're like, no, he fits what we want to do, and he has a 12-sack season last year. And so they find these pieces, and I think it just starts from the top. They know who they want to get on their defense, and if you've done it for 20 years or however long they've been there, I think it works over time. Sweet. Thanks.